Star Wars 7x7 episode 2759. It's another What to Watch Now Saturday, and last week we talked about the Family Guy spoof of the original Star Wars, aka A New Hope. So I thought, yeah, I invested in one, so I might as well invest in the whole trilogy. I don't know how good a decision that was, but we're going to talk about something Dark Side, which is their parody of The Empire Strikes Back. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So, 2 seasons after the Family Guy folks did their parody of A New Hope, they came back with basically the same setup, which is that the whole Griffin family is watching TV and the power goes out, and it's like, oh Dad, tell us a story. All right, I'll tell you another Star Wars story. And so this time, Peter Griffin tells the story of The Empire Strikes Back. At least this is the conceit of the episode and the way the parody is presented. And at the end of it, there's a joke about how Robot Chicken had already done this parody, which they did in the previous episode as well. And so this is kind of a callback to that. And of course, it's particularly funny because the voice of the son, Chris, is Seth Green, who is one of the co-creators of Robot Chicken. So the argument between the dad and the son over this, and the son obviously a fan of Robot Chicken, and for just, more reasons than one, the meta reason, right? So that has a little bit of comedy to it. And that's about it for me on this one. I don't know, gosh, I start to feel like a little curmudgeon-y about it, because this one I did not necessarily enjoy as much as the last one, and even then the last one was like a couple of smiles here and there, and otherwise like this one less, and actually kind of some stuff where I was like, I know I talked about how there were a couple of characters that were particularly uncomfortable in their presentation because they're uncomfortable in Family Guy itself, and they're uncomfortable in how they were worked into the Star Wars story. Well, there's a little bit less of that comparatively in this episode, at least with those 2 characters, but there's a lot of humor at Leia's expense in this episode that just really did not sit well with me at all. And a few jokes that play with race and sexual identity in not really fun ways. So well, let me talk about something positive, which is John Williams' music, which populates the story throughout. And that is wonderful pretty much almost in any context, because you can just focus on the music and be like, it's so good to hear this music. And the animation of scenes from the movie, particularly with spaceships flying around, is just really very close to what you actually see in the movies. And so you have situations where the Millennium Falcon is flying away from Star Destroyers and you get the iconic music from John Williams together. Like, you can get the feels from that, and it's pretty awesome. And of course, the whole situation on Hoth, like that in The Empire Strikes Back, is my favorite sequence of any Star Wars movie ever. That first 30 minutes of The Empire Strikes Back is just my absolute favorite of all Star Wars storytelling, and so I was excited to see that. And I have to say, the animation of snow speeders flying and attacking the Imperial walkers, that I enjoyed very much. I'll also say that it was very fun to hear John Benjamin as the voice of Yoda. John Benjamin is primarily known as a voice actor, though he has done live action stuff as well. He may be best known as the voice of Sterling Archer in the Archer series, also Bob and Bob's Burgers, which is a spin-off of Family Guy. I guess I have not seen any of the Bob's Burgers stuff. And going all the way back to Dr. Kat's Professional Therapist. Like, yeah, so it's fun to hear him do the whole Yoda situation, and the training montage for Luke and Yoda being intercut with the training montage of Victor Drago from Rocky IV. Like, that was just absurd and out of nowhere, and that was fun. They also managed to land 3 solid jokes about Luke losing his hand, which is just kind of surprising and impressive. You remember the part where he falls out the window in Cloud City and he's hanging on to that gantry, and in the Family Guy spoof, he's hanging there and he says, I'd give my right hand for this day to end, as he's crawling back up onto the gantry. And then when Darth Vader, in the form of Stewie the baby, cuts off Chris's / Luke's right hand, the hand disappears, and then a second later you hear from like down far below in the depths of Cloud City somebody go, hey, a hand, very excitedly. And then with Luke / Chris hanging off the bottom of Cloud City and the gang on the Falcon flying over to pick him up, Leia / Lois yelling out the window, Luke, if that's you, wave your right hand. And then a stop, no, your right hand, which obviously you can't do. I don't know, that one kind of struck me sideways and actually got a genuine vocal laugh out of me. So, I guess there were, maybe a few more amusing things than I initially thought when I started talking with you about this, because, yeah, there's just so much in there that just, I just want to push away. Like, I just was like, no, come on, this is not good. To the point where at one point I was thinking, like, can Star Wars even be spoofed anymore? Like, it's just, I don't know if it really can successfully anymore. And so ultimately, I think I'm going to have to check out the Robot Chicken things, and we can talk about that down the line too, because maybe there's something different and interesting about those, comparatively speaking. As far as this one goes, as far as Family Guy's parody of The Empire Strikes Back called something Dark Side, well, yeah, it may have its moments, but I think just overall, like, I still can't recommend it, just like I was saying that I can't recommend the other one. I feel like I can recommend this one less, or I, would be loath to recommend this more. What am I trying to say here? I think if I had to recommend one of the two, I don't even know which one I'd recommend. It's almost like I wouldn't recommend either of them, but for kind of a different melange of reasons. But if you are motivated to check it out and let me know what you thought. Let me know if you think I'm being curmudgeonly about some of this stuff that I didn't like. Let me know if the stuff that I thought was amusing you found amusing too or not. I would love to hear it. Let me know wherever you like to check out the podcast, and there's a comment section, or hey, at home base for the show at sw7x7.com. And that's going to do it for this episode of the show. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always, and may the force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.